Hey, this is Dr. Jen, and I want to talk to you today about burnout and why burnout can feel so hard to solve. We have a lot of awareness now on burnout, right? It's no surprise the frequency of it, how much it's increased over the past several months to couple of years for so many different reasons. We are very, very aware that burnout exists. But I want to break down for you why burnout is hard to solve and one of the core methods of how people typically approach solving burnout, but also how a huge part of the equation is being missed. But if you can nail that part of it, then we are going to see a dramatic decline in burnout by empowering every single person who's either experienced it or wants to make sure that they're aware of it and know how to prevent it for themselves or the people that they look out after. So on this board, you see a person. You see a person surrounded by a ton of stuff. Each of these lines means something very different, and it helps to illustrate how people who are dealing with burnout or are approaching burnout or are afraid that they could burn out someday, how it happens. I want to talk about the black line first. I'm going to talk about the red. When people think about burnout, we typically are looking at the things in our world that we're having to deal with and navigate, whether that is productivity, work-life balance, outside pressure and expectations put on us to perform, to show up, to meet other people's expectations, to achieve a goal. Maybe we're dealing with negative comments or haters or criticism, or dealing with personality conflicts or challenges with communication. Maybe we're dealing with more global issues that are causing bigger stresses within our individual lives, how an organization or a team is running. So the reason why people are burning out on the surface is because people are dealing with so many more outside stresses than they used to. And all of those arrows going towards that person is just yet another thing and another thing and another thing that they have to contend with, cope with, try to manage, try to deal with. The challenge is when people are looking to help themselves or others with burnout, we tend to focus so much on what's happening out the outside, how to drown out expectations, how to communicate better with other people, how to disconnect from some of the stresses in the world, how to navigate change, how to look at balancing your time better, how to manage the stress in your environment better. And while those are all phenomenally valuable and necessary, that is only 50% of the equation, because you could have all of the productivity tools, you could have all of the goal setting tactics, you could have all of the metrics in place, you could have all of the protocols set for navigating change and providing different perks or benefits or strategies or programs to help people navigate all of these outside stresses. Again, all necessary. But what we don't know what's happening is how not only are they feeling burned out from the outside and everything they're having to deal with, but how they're feeling burned out from the inside. Burnout happens more from the inside out. Burnout is more than trying to cope or manage all the different stresses that people are dealing with in their outside world. But it's actually about looking at how they're burning themselves from the inside. How within themselves are they putting on far too great of expectations? How within themselves are they feeling unworthy, not good enough, not productive enough, not capable of, like they don't belong? What words or phrases or expressions or communication or desires or frustrations are they holding back? What doubts, fears, challenges with their own confidence or competence are they holding on to? Because you see, if someone is dealing with all these stresses from the outside world, and we're dealing with all of these negative things within the inside, it is such a dangerous avalanche of negative energy and pressure. That's what causes a person to completely flatline when it comes to their work or pursuing their goals. It's why we're seeing more issues with health. It's why we're seeing longevity change dramatically. It's why we're seeing productivity change dramatically, because we need to look at all sides of this equation. The good news is that we can, but we need to, and we need to starting now. Because the danger that happens, though people are getting more courageous, more aware, getting more encouragement to communicate about what's going on, they are still burying and suppressing a lot of things. So rather than communicating challenges with their own confidence, personal conflicts, challenges with an insecurity or a fear that they're dealing with, they are keeping this on the inside. And it's like a pressure cooker, and they are surrounded by all of the steam until they're ready to explode or just give up. So we need to look at whether we're an individual or whether we're an entity that has a team of people that we need to change the culture on or the mindset on or the direction on. Yes, we need to look at all this stuff. It is vital to look at communication, culture, change, navigating bigger stresses that are outside of themselves. And we also need to look at just as much, if not more, how can we provide these people with an opportunity where they can have not only an outlet for them to express where they're feeling overwhelmed, where they're feeling insecure, where they're feeling inadequate, where they're feeling uncertain, where they're feeling not good enough, where they feel the pressure to be perfect to perform. We need an outlet for those things, but we need to get to the heart of why in here, why in their mind have they been holding on to this for so long? What are those mental blocks that are holding them back? What are those mental blocks that are making them push themselves, doubt themselves, not feel confident within themselves? Because no matter how much support they're getting on the outside, and no matter how much acknowledgement they're getting to share what they're dealing with on the inside, we need to look at why they're struggling on the inside. We need to look at why those blocks are showing up, and not only why are they showing up, but how can we unlock them? How can we get people to overcome the mental blocks that are holding them back, burning them out, driving them to the ground, and making them feel inadequate so they can step into the awesome version that they are somewhere deep inside? That's what I love to do, because every single high performer, every single team is holding on to deeper mental blocks that are going to be like brakes on a train, stopping the momentum to overcome this epidemic of burnout that we're dealing with. We need to look at it from the outside, and we need to look at it from the inside. So as you're listening and you're evaluating this, either for yourself or for the people that you're responsible for and want to help, ask yourself and get a pulse on, am I looking at both equally? Am I giving enough due justice to all sides of the equation? And if you're not, that's okay. It's really overwhelming to try to manage it yourself and to try to figure it out. So what I would invite you to do is to share with me, what is the challenge for you? Where do you need help? Where do you need support? When you're looking at burnout, either helping people overcome it or preventing it and looking to do it quickly, where do you need the most help, and what was your biggest takeaway from this? It's awesome to share with you how burnout is something we can actually change. Burnout is actually something we can eventually look at and not even being a part of our lexicon if we know how to not manage it, not cope with it, not even treat it, but look to the root cause of each person individually and their own custom blueprint of what they're dealing with, and make sure they're getting the support to unlock those blocks and overcome them and become a stronger, better, more authentic version of themselves. I look forward to hearing your feedback on this. I'm Dr. Jen, and I'll talk to you in the next video.